everybody, Tom Berry here with Investor Loan Source and ILS Capital. I want to do a quick video here about the market and where we see things right now in the real estate space. I've been asked on so many Zoom calls and meetings and REI meetings across the country and in-person meetings absolutely as well about let's talk about the market and what's going on. A lot of people out there are scared. A lot of people out there are convinced with 100% certainty that they know exactly what's going on and they know what's next. And I do not profess to know 100% what is going to happen in the future, but I can tell you what I'm seeing now, and I can tell you some of the pitfalls that we're already starting to see people experience. So, number one, sales are cooling. Now, they're not imploding, they're cooling. Across the country, we see sales slowing down. What does that mean? It means that we're not white hot now, we're just red hot as far as sales go. Now, when we look at the new home market, which is kind of a leading indicator for what happens in the existing home market, we're seeing more than just a slowdown. We're seeing a screeching halt. For example, Lennar Homes, which is one of the largest home builders, reported that they had large amounts of cancellations. We're seeing that across the country, and the Home Builders Index, Sentiment Index, just came out yesterday. It's at 55. That's down 14 points from last month. One of the largest drops in a single month since the Great Recession. So we are seeing some change in the real estate market, particularly in the single-family market. So what does that mean for real estate investors? Well, first of all, it means don't take unnecessary risk. Don't take on marginal projects. Don't take on projects where you have to maybe slightly overpay to get into that project. I don't think those are good moves right now where we are in the marketplace. There's uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty, you don't want to take on additional risk. Another thing that I would watch for is I would want to get into projects that I can get in and get out quickly. This is not the time for a rehab that's going to take you 6 months to fulfill from contract to contract. Okay? This is a time to get in and get out in 2 months, 3 months at most. So these major projects where you're adding square footage, you're putting an addition on, you're doing all these moving walls and that kind of stuff, in a rising market, that stuff's great. You know, and that stuff can bring you huge returns. But in an uncertain market, this, I believe, is not the time for that. So we're making adjustments on the lending side, and we're seeing most of our peers in the lending space make adjustments as well. We have already seen multiple large national hard money lenders close their doors. And you think, well, why would they be closing their doors already? We're young into this changing market. What could have imploded for them? It wasn't foreclosures, which is typically what takes a hard money lender out. No, it was their credit lines have been pulled. So what we're seeing from the Wall Street guys is a pullback on what they're willing to lend and who they're willing to lend to in the hard money space. Hard money guys are having to shut their doors, and we think that that's going to accelerate. We're also seeing a lot of hard money lenders across the nation change their LTVs. They're no longer doing the 75%. They're no longer doing the 70%. Some of them have reduced their LTVs to 50% until they see what's going to go on next. So I think we're still in a good market. There is still a demand for single-family homes. There is still money to be made flipping, wholesaling, certainly wholesaling. But I would hedge, if I were still actively in the single-family market, I would hedge and try to do the easier deals. I would buy deeper, and I would want to get into deals that I can get in and get out in a quick time frame. So that's my take on what we're seeing right now. Watch credit. I think the credit and the lending programs that we have been accustomed to over the last 3-4 years with the really dirt cheap money available to real estate investors is drying up. It's drying up as we speak, and it's going to continue in that direction. But at Investor Loan Source, we're still here with our capital. We are not tied to banks. We are not tied to Wall Street. We are 100% private money. So our motto still holds: if the deal makes sense, you're approved. So if you've got a deal and you want us to look at it with you, click on the Apply Now button on our website, www.ils.cash, and we'd be happy to look at your deal with you. We are still here and we are still lending.